For the last few years, I have challenged myself to design my photography and my videos around a different theme each month. And of course, I invite you all to join in on the fun. Last month, I did Far Away February, and I got far away myself. I took photos of faraway things, and I even hearkened back to faraway times in my photography. If you've been around for a while, you may remember one of the most well-liked monthly themes, which I've repeated a few times. And I suppose if you've seen the title to this video, it's not so hard to figure out. It is Monochrome March. I have rarely talked to a photographer who doesn't love an excuse to shoot in black and white. I certainly love it. So, in March, we monochrome. During this theme, I do my best to do most of my photos and even many of my videos in black and white, even when I would initially want to use color. Speaking of which, there we go, as I was saying. Even those times when I think that I want to use riotous color and think of cranking up that saturation, nope. The whole thing truly makes me consider my initial reaction to each situation. I think that kind of consideration can only make me a better photographer. We tend to get ourselves into creative ruts from time to time, especially if you've been a photographer for any length of time. I've been SnapChick for over 8 years now, making new videos and photos several times per week, every week. I always seem to be able to come up with new ideas and projects, but this helps me to keep things fresh. These monthly themes keep me on my toes, constantly forcing me to focus my ideas and delve a little bit deeper into each idea that I have. Like when working in monochrome, I tend to focus more on different elements of the photograph, which are emphasized when shooting exclusively for black and white. Elements like texture, shape, and line. Not that these aren't important in color photography, but rather I find myself looking for images through my viewfinder that showcase them. In the past, both for Monochrome March and during the rest of the year, I have done plenty of portrait shoots like these, where I included monochrome photos, or even where I did the entire session in monochrome. In fact, I have a whole ebook of monochrome portraits. I think I could probably only take monochrome portraits for the rest of my days and be a happy camper. A place that isn't so easy for me to shoot in monochrome is outdoors. One of my favorite things to do in the whole world is get out to the Grand Canyon with my camera. Of course, my default is to capture all of those reds and that often unbelievably blue sky. But I've also found that making that switch over to black and white makes me focus on some of those elements that I discussed earlier, like the beauty of the lines in the canyon walls made from the layers of sediment collecting over literally millions of years. Last year, I even went on an entire monochrome adventure to Joshua Tree National Park. I mean, the actual adventure was in real living color, but I made the adventure video in black and white. That was a time when I struggled to make the decision to convert to monochrome, but I ended up really liking the results. It put an entirely new perspective on the Joshua trees and the unreal rock formations that I hiked to find. I've also shared several videos throughout the years on the options for achieving monochrome images. There are different ways to do it in post-processing, but possibly my favorite way to do it is to set my camera to actually record the images in black and white, rather than converting color images later in post-processing. I'll tell you how to see a few of my videos on those topics in just a minute. As for my projects this month, I have a few ideas already. I'm thinking portraits, landscapes, nature, abstract, and street photography. I'll be tagging them all as monomarch. The one challenge I already know I'm going to encounter is that I have a big photography trip coming up where I will be making a photo book for my patrons afterwards. I think that will have to remain in color, but I'll bet that I can come up with all kinds of black and white images from the trip to share. So like I said earlier, because I've done this theme a few times already, I have a handful of videos that detail different aspects of black and white photography, like those that I talked about just a minute ago. I'll be flashing back to those videos all month long on social media, so make sure you follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. But I also have a link below that will take you to my site where I have a list of videos to get you started. And members, log in while you're there because you have a gallery of monochrome images from my back catalog. It's always my hope that these themes and my photos and videos serve as inspiration for you. This month is no exception, but I also hope that it challenges you as much as it challenges me. I hope it makes you want to get out there and use some monochrome in places where you may not initially think that you would. And make sure you tag your images so that we can all see them. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with.